current frame of living, I am an audiophile, a student of philosophy, a writer of poetry, a designer of speaker systems and 3D printers, car mechanic, coffee connoisseur, specialty coffee, and an abstract and realist artist from an Indigenous, Italian, Scottish, and English background who is living currently in Burnaby, being born in North Vancouver. Now, I think we can all agree that these two components of our lives are not the only defining characteristics, and they may not even be the most important. They may not be what brings someone joy and pride, nor share of their culture and environment. Within the next seven minutes, I hope to justify the importance of including all of those items in my introduction, what engineering is, what learning is and what we should learn, as well as how to become a leader. Now, what is engineering? I believe that there are two understandings of this, that being within our daily life, a common and universal sense, and that of study and profession. Within our daily life, I believe that engineering is the process and the act of inventing or improving tools or methods to increase our quality of living. Within study and profession, I believe it is the act of inventing or improving products or services to bring profits to companies and or to increase our quality of living. The differences between these two definitions are clear, as that in our daily life, we engineer to create tools and methods versus products and services. And we do this to increase our quality of living alone versus providing profits to companies as well. It did not take me long to realize this when the word solution to define engineering and design was replaced with product in later years. It became apparent that the goals of the study, as well as the profession, are inherently capitalistic. I believe there are many solutions in our world, and those related to engineering, that do not require a product, something manufactured, marketed, and sold to consumers. I believe that any true solution is entirely removed from this word. This is also a reality that much of our studies are to prepare us to work, make money for ourselves, and make money for others. And this is why much of our studies and careers are so specialized, this meaning particular, defined, and constrained. It is a lot easier for an institution to make use of a highly skilled individual with very defined learning or experience. This structure of our modern capitalist world creates many boundaries and barriers to the ways in which we learn and live, although it doesn't have to, and I hope to share how. Now, why do we learn? We learn to understand the tools and methods that must be used, improved, or invented to increase our quality of living. You learn a language to understand others, have others understand you, and continue learning. You learn to walk in order to travel farther and faster and make use of your hands. And you learn mathematics in order to further quantify and define the world around you. Now, if we look back at my common and daily use definition of engineering, these are quite similar. Learning is about the process of understanding, and engineering is about the process of acting on that understanding. Now, let me share a story. Just 2 weeks ago, I was visiting my family in Sagamok, Ontario, to participate in my community's annual Harvest Festival. While I was here, I was reading Discord on Methods by René Descartes, a famous philosopher, mathematician, and physicist. In this book, he talked about the importance of common sense, or a universal wisdom, which is very similar to how we understand it today. Basically, a general understanding of how life works, how we all work, everything. And I ended up finding a nice page which had this definition. I do a lot of highlighting, and I posted this page on social media. Every once in a while, it's nice to see if it can affect any change or reflection in other people. So this quote that I shared goes as such. We should think instead only about increasing the natural light of reason, not in order to resolve this or that problem of scholastic philosophy, but in order for our intellect to instruct our will about what choices to make in each of one's decisions. And in a short time, we will be surprised that we have made much more progress than those who study particular things. And thus, we will have achieved not only all the things that others desire, but we will have also achieved much more than others could hope for. Now, a friend of mine, who is also within integrated engineering at UBC, saw my post of this and sent me a lengthy message in which I'll share just 2 portions of it. Thank you for guiding me to a place I never imagined I would go. The book you posted helped me make a decision I've been dreading for weeks. I don't know exactly what I want, and I also don't know what I don't want, but I realize that only by trying will I find out. Today I accepted the offer for an 8-month civil engineering job in Burnaby. This will open up new doors. I only wish to learn the truth, whatever it may be, whether it is dangerous, sad, overwhelming, or extraordinary. He also asked himself some questions that we may have, or will, ask ourselves. What if I could have been a prodigy in another field? If I were a prodigy, what else could I have been good at? These questions have troubled me since I was a child, and it was difficult to find a passion. For now, I've committed myself to a direction beyond my control. Reading that page gave me the reassurance and sense of tranquility I had been waiting for. A simple quote from a philosophical text that I chose to read because, why not, discussed the importance of this diverse and endless learning, of finding this universal wisdom, and allowed a peer of mine to also ask, why not, commit to a job opportunity and find a sense of peace and tranquility along that journey of diverse and endless learning. Now, when it comes to my introduction, the reason I chose to include this, being a student of philosophy, equal to everything else and equal to my studies and work, is because it is. In another example, my audiophile equipment, when I was in a cafe enjoying some specialty coffee, which I was at to design speaker systems, which I was going to blade with 3D print, caught the eye of a philosophy and art professor at Emily Carr, who was sitting beside me. Over the past 10 years, I've learned a lot from this man when it comes to life, literature, and art. And this moment of meeting is also the inspiration behind a narrative I'm currently writing, backed with much of my poetry, that defines my goals and visions for our future. I included all of these portions of my life equal to my studies and work because they are. Now we must ask the most important question of today. What do we learn? Well, here are a few examples. Everything I've said stands as a testament to the importance of maintaining generalized and diverse learning, and how anything we learn by anyone, anywhere, at any time, has the power to influence anything and everything. I hope to become a leader. I would like to think I am one now, and if so, then become a greater one. And this is why I continue to expose myself to all forms of knowledge. Practice what you have done today. Take everything else that we have shared and learned, and continue this trade tomorrow. And when someone asks you what you want to be when you grow up, say only this: I want to be a lifelong learner. When they inevitably make a face at you, like they do to me sometimes, and ask you what you particularly want to learn, just say anything and everything. Thank you.